All right, there we go. This time around, we got it set up much nicer. Florida National University taking on University of Texas at Arlington Maelstrom for game number 2. The side of Florida International University already up 1 over Maelstrom. So Maelstrom really needs to put the works in this time around to make sure that they can take potential reverse sweep. And as you talked about, the composition coming out from the picks and bans of last game wasn't quite as good. So this time around, what would you like to see different? You said the Ezreal wasn't working for them, maybe a Lucian. Is there anything else that would be better for their comp and looking to be a bit more proactive when it comes to those laning phases?
I think Jinx, scaling versus scaling, somebody who can entirely bypass laning phase in a Sivir or something like that, if it's driven well, can be oppressive late game. And the way you play Sivir is basically Q, W, push the wave in, and walk back to your turret. And just you keep doing that. And you basically don't have to interact with your lane opponent at all.
And just focus on the farming, keeping the pressure off. Bans remain the same between the two sides. So obviously for the side of Florida International, they said if it ain't broke, don't fix it. We got as comfortable for ourselves. We're going to go with Galio support yet again. Could be flipped to the mid lane. But Strikedown played such a solid Galio. His roams to the mid lane were fantastic. His teamfight choice targets were excellent as well. But this time, Maelstrom says, you know what? Let's grab ourselves potentially Alistar for this bottom lane support.
Yeah, the Alistar, okay. A little bit of counter engage there. You might be seeing a little bit more aggressive of a lane coming out of Maelstrom's bottom side.
Oh, I actually forgot to ask. Can you cast this game real quick? It is
yeah.
Oh, that's right. Because
Bible study's not happening.
Yes. Okay, I will let the other casters that were ready to know. All right, well, so we've got the Tristana chosen as the ADC of choice for Maelstrom this time around. They said last game, Ezreal didn't work out so well for us. We're looking for somebody that can push a little bit harder, a little bit faster. Tristana also excellent at taking turrets, could wave clear faster against Norton's Ezreal. So interesting choice as well, because Kai'Sa was available, and Secretic did so well on that Kai'Sa. It's going to be interesting to see them now on the Ezreal, kind of a bit of a reverse of styles of champions.
Oh, on the... I don't like this as much. Of course, Secretic kind of made me a believer in the Kai'Sa last time, so we'll see how he plays it this time. But the aggressive nature of Tristana, Alistar, they could just as easily kill the Galio as they could the Ezreal, really. Tristana is one of the best follow-up champions in the game. However, I would have really loved to see, as soon as they saw the Tristana pick, is a Sivir or somebody with really crazy wave clear, because the way to screw with a Tristana is to put her under tower. Tristana sucks at farming under tower, and you need a good bit of experience with the champion in order to be comfortable doing it. It's not impossible, but it's definitely a lot more difficult.
As the Malphite locked in, that could be jungle. I think I saw it in the LEC once, but most likely to the top lane, looking to join Galio in those big wombo combos. It worked well for them last game, even though it was a different champion this time around. It is that Malphite. It will be interesting to see if they can pull that off, as I like the Vladimir pick from Sky Above the Sky. Strong in the mid lane, very good at being able to continuously harass with those spells. And how do you counter a wombo combo? You simply don't exist. Go into the pool, say, you know what, throw every CC at me you want, you can't touch me. I'm going to float around to find a position that I want to come back in. Hemoplague also so good when they're grouping as 5 members on multiple people. Lots of burst damage. I think that's an excellent choice, as Silas, banned away from Florida National University, Wise, says, you know what, we have a Malphite. We don't want Silas stealing away Malphite's ultimate to use against us. Let's just go ahead and take him off of the roster list.
Yeah, Vladimir picked up, like you were saying. I'm not sure about the cleanse, though. and I'm hoping that gets changed to Ghost. There is a lot of CC on the enemy team. So far, the Kayn grabbed here. Aggressive, and he's been good in past patches, but I'm not a fan of the Kayn because he's not super active early game. I like it better than a Kha'Zix or something like that because it does have the potential to go a bit more support. Good Lord. The tankiness coming through. Is it possible to kill any of these people? So you've got Ahri, Ezreal, Malphite, Amumu, and Galio. Wait. What? I want to see a big powerhouse late game like an Azir, something like that. Just huge. Okay, Nico, maybe. The Wombo combo out of this team. FIU going all in for the team fight this time. I really wish they could exchange the Ezreal for something with like a Jinx Sivir, one of those or a Caitlyn. Massive late game team fighter type ADCs. Even the Kai'Sa would have been wonderful here, but the crazy tank line is just absurd. You want to go through champions and players real quick and then we get into analytics?
Oh yes, especially as that last pick from Maelstrom is pretty spicy and could be a game changer with that Zillion. But for the side of Florida International University, one game up, we've got Carl with a K in the top lane with the Malphite, Norton taking the Amumu in the jungle, Eric Dota on the Nico in the mid lane, Socratic on a slightly different AD carry with the Ezreal, Strike Down back on his #1 champion from last game with the Galio support.
And for UTA Maelstrom, we've got Neo Restoration on Vladimir in the top lane, Divided on Kayn in the jungle, Sky Above the Sky on Zillion in the mid lane, Sem on Tristana in the bottom lane ADC role, and Taste of Italy on Alistar, bottom lane support role this time around. A lot more aggressive in laning phase in the bottom side, more passive in the mid lane, and Kayn, has to destroy Amumu in the jungle. Otherwise, if you let this composition get to late game, from the decisive calls we saw from FIU last game, this kind of a team fighting composition just seems way too scary in their hand. I mean, you've got Nico. That ultimate does so much damage. Also, the Amumu ultimate, everybody seems to have forgotten that Amumu's passive boosts all magic damage done subsequently by 15% in true damage. That's Curse of the Sad Mummy. So you apply that to everybody, and then the Nico ultimate, you could very well, if Nico's ahead, you could very well just get a full one shot off of that. Ezreal, the ultimate coming through, we talked about that a little bit last game. If you just land that on 5 members while they're rooted up, you could get a bunch of damage across, possibly some kills. Also, the Malphite and Galio ultimate. I'm just seeing Amumu going in, Nico and Galio going in at the same time, root into knockup, into Malphite ultimate. The Wombo is there.
And the thing is, they don't have to rely on a Amumu initiation. A Malphite Flash Unstoppable is going to do just as good of a job. A Galio finding the right target to flash and taunt, setting something up, also works. Nico can do it herself. She's got a root in her ultimate, for goodness sake. They don't have one way to initiate. They have 4 ways to initiate, and they have damage to back it up. Not necessarily individually. You're not looking at a LeBlanc that's just got massive burst damage, or as we saw last game, Kai'Sa that can just 1v4 when it gets to the later stages of the game. It's the combined power. The Amumu plus Malphite plus Nico plus Galio that is going to do the job. So for the side of Maelstrom, they never want to 5v5. It is a skirmish game for them in every way possible. You don't want want Alistar initiating in the middle of a 5v5. You want him trying to set up picks. You want Zilean ulting people to say, you know what, let us reset this fight and back up. We don't want to take a 5v5. Let's wait for us to pick off 1 or 2 members. But what we saw last game, where Florida International was doing such a fantastic job of keeping vision in the river for any potential movement, they need from Maelstrom to do the exact same thing and more, because they're the ones that need to know when and where Florida International is making those lane movements and rotations to be prepped and ready for the potential wombo combo, to either head it off early and try to pick up Mumu, as you said, in the jungle, or a Malphite before a Mumu joins in the top lane, or they just avoid it completely and say, you know what, this isn't a fight we want to take, we're just going to lose it, let's wait for something better to come along.
You see, the thing is that with you're asking for picks here, but Galio exists. That's the problem. Picking off somebody when the Galio is on the map is so difficult, because the 1v1 or the 2v1 suddenly becomes a 2v2, and then the knockup buys time for the team to collapse. We saw FIU's ability to collapse very rapidly last game. The roams from the bottom lane as well as from the top lane, just the entire team clenching up around and turning around situations that really should have gone against them.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, we are into the rift for game number 2 between Florida International University versus the University of Texas at Arlington Maelstrom, and we'll see what these two teams can bring to the table this time around. Maelstrom needs to just put everything on the line, play their hearts out to make sure that they can potentially start this reverse sweep. If they don't, they'll go, of course, down in the standings, and Florida International will step up to get into that second-tier position, as the Kane is getting a little bit of vision on Malphite and Mumu on that top side. I think he might have seen a Mumu up there, and so he should know that the Mummy is starting on that top side. Maybe not if he was around the corner.
Mm-hmm. Kane looking like he's also going to try and start on that top side, maybe going down to bot side. I'd really like to see him kind of do a bunch of invading. Of course, being reasonable when his lanes have pressure. But Kane, I just feel like he's going to have to dominate this Amumu. Otherwise,
War's cleared in both pixel brushes. That's pretty fantastic. That shows you that both teams are reading each other's minds. They both drop pixel wards, both clear the enemy team's pixel ward. And no, that is not an Ezreal in the mid lane. That is Nico. Great thing with that being able to auto attack is if you copy your ADC, you actually get their attack speed bonus as well, that additional attack speed. So should be pretty cool to see when Nico decides to use that, as looking for the harass on the Zilean will start to switch to dropping those Qs. Pressure from Florida International once again on this bottom side. Alistar gets a headbutt onto Galio, but gonna take some damage from Ezreal on the way out.
Yeah, the thing is about the Alistar is there's no one more useless at level 1 except possibly Leona than Alistar. He really can't contribute anything meaningful until he has the knockup. He really gets potent at level 3, though. So, top lane Neo Restoration with the level 2 and the presence at the moment, but Carl with a K not going to be too worried about the incredibly late game scaling Vladimir, who hits like a wet noodle in the early game.
He's just splashing you with a little red water, not doing that much up there for the beginning of the game. I like the Ezreal pick from Secretic into the Alistar. It's kind of one of those counters as well to Blitzcrank when you think about the initiation. If Alistar ever wants to try to make a play with that headbutt and knock-up combo, you can actually prep an Ezreal Arcane Shift to avoid it, as you get some pretty good amount of damage down onto the Tristana, but the fight in the mid lane as Sky above the Sky gonna take a huge beating. Nice root from Nico, setting that one up, so he's under 200 health. Kane around the corner, but Nico's gonna flash forward, flash for flash use, and Eric Yoda actually takes 2 shots from the turret. Gonna even up that trade.
Yeah, like you were saying, Blitzcrank being a counter to the Alistar, that all depends on the IQ of support. You know, you can either have them hooking Alistar away, or in my unfortunate case, usually what ends up happening is my support ends up hooking the Alistar into me. It's like, Thanks,
Well,
buddy.
what I was actually trying to say is you got a little bit of a slower early game was the Ezreal is a nice counter to Blitzcrank in that you can avoid a Blitzcrank hook with the Arcane Shift if you time it correctly. But
same thing out of the Tristana, actually, buffering the cast.
that's true. That is true. I think for a while it was different, but no, I agree completely. Yeah, people not to take into Blitzcrank, Alistar, or people to take into a Blitzcrank is Alistar and my love of my life, Leona. Because basically you say, oh, Blitzcrank, thanks for the free initiation. I can just stun you, and then Zenith Blade onto your AD carry. Good times there as Galio looks like he's going to do some own initiation, getting a nice taunt onto the Tristana. Ignite ticking away, Sem should be able to live, but it's all damage onto the Alistar. He has to back up. Both members of Maelstrom low in this bottom lane.
Yeah, Sem in trouble now, but Kane is going to come in.
Trying to gank, looking for the knock-up, setting up Shadow Strike, or Strike Down, sorry, to drop low. Ignite ticking away. Divided needs the last little bit of damage to finish him off. Flash used by Secretic as well, so all summoners down for the bottom laners of Florida International. Zillion was also headed this way, but seeing as the work's already been done, heads back to the mid lane.
Yeah, and that was an excellent gank by Divided to really relieve the pressure. Forced out both the flash and the heal from Sem there. He took the W and the Q from Ezreal at the start of that fight. So I don't believe that the ADC got anything. No, he did end up getting an assist off of that. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Carl with a K not enjoying this matchup whatsoever. 28 CS versus 34 CS in the top lane. It's what you'd expect. But the Vladimir is not something like a Pantheon who just dominates you in the early game and then falls off. Vlad's one of the best.
Hold on from Norton as he's making initiation in the top. You also got a fight in the mid lane breaking now. No Zillion ultimate available. Eric Dota finds the engage, finds the root, the damage, and solo kills despite Gallagher even attempting to roam. Top was just a bait. Just kidding.
Yep, and we thought something was going to happen. Actually, the move really clever there. Using the, hold on, Eric Dota might be caught out in the mid lane. Divided. Oh no!
Throws down the ultimate. Divided, losing a lot of health and backing away immediately afterwards. Alistar has roamed up here, so we're leaving the ADCs to duke it out in the bottom lane solo style as the Galio gets knocked up from the Alistar, trying to find an engage. But again, though, this is the ward coverage from Florida International. They've done an excellent job starting to set up those deeper wards, trying to keep eyes on Kane as he rotates around the map.
Neo Restoration having a little more problems with Carl with a K now that he has a little bit of more HP. Picking up that Kindle Gem as well as the Dark Seal to help him sustain using the Corrupting Potion. Strike down. Sitting on 2 procs of his item right there, going to need to give one over to Socratic because he's really bleeding gold at the moment. Some good zoning here. Socratic landing the Qs, keeping Sem away from the minion wave and denying some CS. Up 10 CS. It's despite the fact that the champions have changed, it's the same story as last game. Around this time, 7 minutes, 10 CS, it's pretty much what it was last time.
And you got to give credit for Strike Down. He's playing this Galio, which isn't what you normally see when it comes to support, and you really would think that the AD carry would suffer because of that. However, Strike Down is doing a fantastic job with the Galio. Doesn't have level 6 yet as he getting engaged from Alistar, knocking the Galio back. He's looking for the top, but he's still underneath the turret. Another turret shot will take him down. He's gonna fall. It's traded over for the Alistar as Eric Dota shows up to help out. Doesn't even get an assist, coming in a little bit late and loses a lot of health. Tristana able to hop away to safety for now as Kane might hop over the wall, looking for a potential re-engage. It's just going to be a trade of supports.
Yeah, and Sem will be able to pick up all of this CS. I'm surprised that the other members didn't stick around. They could have denied like almost 15 CS from Sem if they just stayed there to pressure as well as get a second plate. What with 4 members down there, they definitely could have.
Oh, Socratic trying to get a little fancy with the True Shot Barrage from the brush. However, Tristana gets eyes on him early enough to hop away to safety. A Wind Drake to start this game off, and neither team say, let's rush that one down, boys. Let's get the 5-minute Drake. No, it's a little bit more patience as they're looking more to winning these lanes. And still fairly even in gold, about 1,000 lead for Florida National right now.
Yeah, 61 to 50 in the bottom lane. Carl with a K, 20 CS down on Neo Restoration. Socratic. Also, you've got to remember that he's using Kleptomancy every time he hits a spell or an auto attack.
Ganking in the mid lane, but it just bursts down. Eric Dota starts off that ultimate so well, and he engaged in the bottom side, saying the enemy jungle's nowhere near. Let's go ahead and have a little bit of fun. The taunt from Strike down to set things up as Socratic gets a little bit of damage down onto Sem, dashing forward, drops Tristana to about half. He's got the Mumu jungle here as well, but roots down onto the Zillion in the mid lane, keeping Sky above the Sky from being able to really get anywhere.
Yeah, Zillion really having a hard time with this particular lane. Throws 2 bombs onto 1 minion just to pick up 1 CS. 89 to 52 in the mid lane. And Nico is having the time of her life. Now, if Sky stays and Nico gets ultimate back, this would be a very easy dive to make.
As she's going to be stepping forward, finding another route. That should be the damage, taking out the Zillion. He will ult himself, so he will come back. Windrake given over to Amumu as he was on that for a while. The rest of these mid and bottom lane heavily pushed forward. I wanted to note, though, if you look at the CS difference in the mid lane, 40 CS to Nico. This Eric Dota doing a fantastic job. The engage on the Socratic in the bottom lane. He's able to arcane shift out his Galio and the Amumu coming around the corner. We could look for another turret dive flashing forward. The Galio's going to set things up. Goes Golden, avoiding the turret damage. Tristana jumps to safety for the moment. Ults the back
Sem!
the turret. Sem picking up a kill as Divida ganking in the mid lane once again, trying to set up a kill onto this Nico. This is the second, third, fourth time he's been here. The bomb should come through, but Kane says, I'll steal it away before Zillion gets the kill, making 2 quick kills for Maelstrom, trying to get back to this game, evening up the goal.
Yeah, despite the fact that Sem has not been winning this lane, those 2 kills he's gotten traded back during those turret dives really helping him out, more than equalizing the CS deficit. Also, Kane has managed to pick up a decent amount of gold for himself. Still down CS in the jungle. Hold on. Neo Restoration. No, never mind.
The spell burn just to get himself out. I don't even know. Hold on, it wasn't even a spell. That was just...
That was his pad, or his keystone.
His keystone, there we go. Giving himself a little bit of a boost with that ultimate to get out of Malphite's way. He's still up 20 CS over Malphite, so not terribly concerned. And the best thing about it for the side of Maelstrom is he's just keeping Malphite busy. No roams, no potential ultimates onto other members if Malphite has to sit in this top lane and deal with Vladimir. However, with Vladimir backing, Rift Herald is the target for the Mumu and Malphite, already down to about half health. Should be able to secure it as no one's really around to try to fight for it.
Eric Dota going for another plate in the mid lane. Gonna get solo gold on that and probably going to be able to take down another one on the next couple waves. Just the pressure he has on Sky Above the Sky. 30 CS up, working on 40 CS, a full item ahead right now. Whereas his opponent's only working on pieces. Every time he steps forward, Sky has to burn something. And that is just damage and pressure and money going through, which is incredibly important because really it's going to be Eric Dota who's going to be doing a huge amount of the damage here in a second.
Italy getting a knock back onto the Ezreal, but I think he's going to reconsider using that headbutt as Amumu is waiting in the wings. He might have been seen by that ward in the second brush of this bottom lane, but... either way, Maelstrom playing safe in the bottom lane, but one of the problems with playing safe, as they've been doing for a while in this game, is you're still losing CS. You're still losing it in the mid lane, and in this bottom lane is Amumu with the gank by Tristana. You step forward a little too aggressively. Alistar uses the ultimate to get out, but they found what they were looking for. They found the kill.
Shelly.
Oh, Shelly dropped that bottom
Perfect
lane.
timing.
Should knock down this bottom lane turret, securing
All
even
the
more
plates
gold for Florida International. Shelly might even get a charge onto the second tier turret as well. Got to move in the wave, divided, waiting around the corner, hops over the wall, smites Eric Dota. The Nico's ultimate gonna land onto only one as the Kane ults his way to safety. Eric Dota dashing underneath.
Under
nice
turret.
route onto the Kane though.
Norton's
with
coming
that
in from the
Galio
backside.
ultimate. Says let's go ahead
Socratic's
and back away. Secretic getting a little bit of damage down onto the Zillion, who ults himself, comes back up, revive being used. Malphite trying to get the headbutt away onto Galio's taunt that was ready. Doesn't matter, Zillion's already been finished off. The CC Chains from Florida International coming up huge, and now giving themselves a 2,000 gold lead.
Yeah, and you're just seeing a taste of the CC that can come through from this squad. So the thing about having so many tanky members is they almost always bring heavy CC with them. And hold on, Carl with a K getting dove underneath here.
Oh, he's gonna use the ultimate, trying to reset Neo of Restoration, slashing away from the turret. So will not kill Carl with the K, but will force the back and the TP most likely.
But will lose his flash for his trouble. And since he's been so far extended, that might be detrimental to him. I don't know if he can continue to play so aggressively and still maintain his life. He's going to recall here the teleport forced out of the Maokai.
Ocean Drake spawning shortly. Got about 10 seconds on that one. Another nice Drake, but not exactly the most desired of all of the Drakes. As Kan goes ahead and gets his Darken mode, engaging the Alistar. And they're getting a knock up onto the Mumu, who's going to throw that in the Chilling Smite. Nice stun from Zillion Bombs as well. Throw Alistar?
Ignite?
Look at the Ignite? I don't think that's going to kill the Mumu. No.
It would have if he hadn't gotten the heal from Secretic.
Okay, so spell for spell, ignite for heal traded. That'll actually be pretty good if they can finally engage onto the Ezreal. Dragon going to be started by Maelstrom as they get two members here at the moment. Tristana coming around the corner as well. Could be jumped upon by the bottom laners of Florida International. Last game around, Florida International got every single Drake. This time they're going to lose one as Galio's trying to make a play. Alistar's into the back line, though. Finds a knock up onto the Nico. Chasing forward, finds a stun. Her ultimate's going to be wasted. It's gone. Divided is still chasing on the back end. Sped up by Sky of the Above. Secretic going to be ulted by the Kane. Dashes underneath the turret. Kane dashing out. A little bit of damage, but he's been taunted. Flashes away and over the wall. The Muru ultimate locks down Alistar and should lock down the Zillion as well. He's got no chance to escape. So 2 kills for Florida International on a nice re-engage from the Amumu. Norton over the wall.
Yep, Eric Dota and Secretic playing that flawlessly, as well as Strike Down using his taunt to peel Divided off of his carries and get more damage coming through under tower. Yeah, and that's probably going to be the second tier at least drop to 3/4, and then Divided going to try and come in, going to get rooted inside of the wall, and that's going to be the end of that.
Yeah, just a bit disengage from Florida International as they have done very well this game. Still, Maelstrom is making attempts at plays, but each time they make a small mistake, overstepping here or not knowing where the enemy jungler is there, the side of Florida International punishes them so well this time around. A lot of competition for vision as well. You can see the deep, deep wards from Florida International to keep vision on these rotations as Divided joins the Vladimir, who again has been kind of the island in the top lane against this Malphite. Who throws down the ultimate. All right, Unstoppable comes through, dropping a little bit of health, but the Vladimir's healing shouldn't be too terribly concerned, and he has gained Kane around the corner.
Yeah, I mean,
go ahead.
The ultimate thrown out there, Abyssal Mass, gives him a lot of magic resist, but I mean, Neo Restoration not really going to care about that one. He has, oh, he hasn't finished his, what's the Spectre's Cal upgrade? Spirit Visage. He hasn't finished his Spirit Visage quite yet, so he's not going to have access to the bonus healing for that. However, the Proto Belt is online.
Gonna be a lot of bursts if he throws it all down onto one person in particular. I want to make a quick note of Ezreal finishing off that Trinity Force and picking up his second tier. So he's pretty happy with his gold at the moment. It is currently almost 2,000, over 2,000 gold over this Tristana, who's finally finished her first item of that Infinity Edge. Coming out of the top
Neo Restoration.
Strike Down coming, walking right in. They were waiting for the pool to come out. Taunt's going to be a little bit slow, but the teleport forced out from the Zillion in response.
All in all, many members committed topside for no gain. Neo Restoration wise, the whole for as long as he can there. And then just uses the ultimate to ensure that he will have plenty of HP when he comes out of the pit.
32,000 gold to 28,000 gold. That's the difference between these two teams at the moment. About 2,000, a little bit over that gold lead for the side of Florida International. They've already won one game. They've got themselves nice wombo combo when it comes to the 5v5s. And with these turrets down in the mid and bottom side, they could look for some of them. But mostly I think they're just waiting for these bigger objectives to come up to kind of set up for the 5v5s. Because they're not really rushing anything down. Sky from the above, Sky above the sky. We got a lot of damage down in this top lane. Should be able to secure the first turret for Maelstrom.
Yep, that's, and he does knock it down. Nobody on that side, but it looks like FIU is looking for some engage, just roaming as a 5-man unit. Just looking for that engage. Carl with a K having access to the ultimate means they can start a fight whenever they want to. The unstoppable force just going to really act as a good initiation and a good tether for the Galio to jump onto, followed by the Amu, and then whatever other CC happens to be in the area.
And this could actually work well for Maelstrom if they play it correctly. A 1-3-1 where the 3 in the middle avoid being jumped on but keep eyes on the 5 members of Florida International. They want to group as 5. One of the ways to counter that is through split push. Near Restoration, up 40 farm over this Malphite. Now he's backing away right now, even though it looks like he should be hitting the turret because they've got no vision. It could be all 5 members of Florida International heading towards that bottom lane. But he's going to back away, play safe, wait until he gets vision and know where those members are, and then maybe going back to split pushing on the opposite side of the map. All 5 collecting around the Wind Drake and going to immediately jump on it to start it up. I think they're going to be able to secure it as they've got plenty of damage there and no one for the side of Maelstrom able to respond yet.
Yeah, and Sam, despite that laning phase not going so well for him, did end up with a decent amount of gold at the end of it, having the Infinity Edge and half of his second item complete. He's still substantially far behind the Ezreal, but will be a late game force to be dealt with. Tristana, not a champion to play lightly with. Meanwhile, there's just nothing happening. Both teams just kind of dancing around each other, waiting for the other one to make the first move. Socratic really playing forward. Wow.
And that's the arcane shift out of the knockout from Alistar we talked about earlier. The move onto the Baron for Florida International. They say, you know what, we saw the Vladimir on the bottom side. We know that it's going to be a 4v5. They start fighting. Now the Vladimir's TPing and the ultimate over. Sorry, the flash over from Alistar. The look to the engage. 3-man knockup. Mumu smites away the Baron, but it's all about how the rest of the fight breaks down. Strike down is extremely low, but Carl with the K doing what he can to CC everyone inside the pit. Sem's been left alone, though, so he can start to get those resets jumping in. Vladimir finishes off the Ezreal. Make that a 4-for-1 as Maelstrom come out huge despite losing the Baron.
Yeah, they do lose the Baron, like you were saying, but if Carl with the K can get out, that will be the split pusher with enough Baron. But Carl with a K, he's got the speed boost, he's got the fancy feet, divided, hitting down on the damage, but the blast cone is here, Sky above the sky. He's not gonna make it out. He's gonna be taken down, as well as the mid lane tower. Neo Restoration and Sam both making that decisive play. Remember, you don't chase the kills, you get the objectives. So, and they get the best of both worlds. The jungler taking down the top laner with a little bit of help from Sky above the sky.
And it was a good attempt by Carl with a K with that Baron. He wanted to live, trying to make a roam around to the blast cone. However, Sky above the sky, clearing that before the Malphite can get to it, saying, no, you do not get over this wall. And at that point, Malphite says, you know what, I'm down. And that says a massive victory for Maelstrom. Even though they're down 2,000 gold, still, they were able to take every single Baron off every single member of Florida International and secure themselves 2 turrets in the mid lane. They're looking pretty happy. Now they've backed and been able to buy a lot of gold. Consider also the shutdowns that were secured through that last fight. As Ezreal, sitting 4-2-2, has himself again that tier Trinity Force and first tier item. And then Muramana needs that Seraph Embrace before he truly comes online.
Yep. So Taste of Italy in the top lane could look for an engage, but not going to want to. There are 4 members here. Norton hiding in the brush. They don't know that the Amumu is just waiting in the wings along with Strike Down. Remember what we were talking about with the team fight that comes through from these 2 guys. Now they do know that Nico's there, but Strike Down is being imitated by the Nico. Going to be an interesting thing. I can see the mind games that can come through with this. Taste of Italy taking a big chunk. And the engage.
The flash from the Galio, but it's all onto the Mumu. He's underneath the little bit of health. He ults, but the Kane's able to escape for now. Tristana goes down, though. That was their target. The wombo combo for Mumu. And Nico takes her down. Can they survive the rest of the fight, though? As Vladimir flashes forward. The Hextech Proto Belt to take down the Ezreal. Still gets dropped, but Kane dropped it away by the Galio. It keeps himself
He's out of mana.
Off of Eric Dota. Galio being beaten up little bit by little bit. Sky above the sky, dropping low. The Malphite waiting for the ultimate to wear off, and still gets the reset. I love the choice by Maelstrom to have the Zillions splitting on that bottom side, letting Vladimir do work in that last team fight. As Divide is coming around the corner, see if he can still make the hop, but another fight won by Maelstrom across the map.
Yeah, it's a 2-for-2 overall, so it's not a straight-up win. I really wish Amumu was going tank, because he's so often, he's the primary initiator. Carl with a K might be caught here. Divided. Oh! Taste of Italy knocks him up!
Nicely done. Can't get the knockup from the Kane, though, so they do allow him to live. I think they might have spotted the Ezreal or the Mummy as well. Amumu and say, you know what, all right, we're not interested in fighting against all the members fresh out of the fountain. But good attempt, as I believe, yeah, the Ocean Drake, a second one, can be spawning shortly.
Yeah, you've got Runic Echoes as well as Rabadon's Death Cap, plus half another item on the Echo. Sky above this guy gonna be dropped really quick. Socratic just making quick work of him right there, not having access to the ultimate as it was used in the last fight. Just comes up. That sucks.
Hard to dodge out on auto attacks. Florida International secure themselves a 3rd Drake, making that, I believe, 8 total for this best of 3 series, as they've only lost 1 as the one this game, the Ocean Drake, evening up the kills between the 2 teams, but it's only a 2,000 gold lead. At this point, 26 minutes in, 2,000 gold isn't the end of the world. Really, a lot of this at this point is on Maelstrom to make sure that the fight and the engage from Florida International is on their terms, not allowing the Malphite, or the Mumu, to just jump right in. As we get a pause, ladies and gentlemen, that'll give us time for chatting and seeing what's going on. We got double readies, though, as well. Not sure what the pause was about then. I can't see. Well, we'll enjoy this pause for a moment and talk about overall this game, how it's gone. Game 1, about that 8-minute mark. Maelstrom was keeping up with Florida International. However, things got turned online, and their combination power in the last game destroyed Maelstrom very shortly afterwards. This game, things have been a little bit more back and forth.
Another pause!
Pause for pause. We didn't even see the first pause. It's just, we're just right back into it. No worries. So, Wraith, tell me, what do you think about Maelstrom's chances this game?
It's a lot more plausible than last time. They have the late game carry of the Tristana, which is definitely a decent positive for the late game. You've got also Neo Restoration, who's playing really clean on this Vladimir, and Sky Above the Sky, who, while he just kind of got butchered in lane, also has the ultimate. So either carry, either the Vladimir, who's already so hard to kill, or the Tristana, who's getting picked on a lot by the Wombo combo of FIU. Either one could be a target for this this ultimate from the Zillion in order to resurrect and give him a second shot at success. So I think they have a much better shot than they did in the last game, but it's still, FIU is making much more decisive plays, and they're the active aggressors that can either be good or bad depending on whether they overextend or not.
they're going to push forward onto this second tier turret in the mid lane. Find a route onto Alistar, bursting him low. He's actually going to be walking away, burning down. The True Shot Barrage will miss, though. So, Taste of Italy lives just a ton
40
of health. Gets back to the fountain, but that means it's a 4v5 fight if they decide to engage with Alistar being recalled. The Ezreal poke coming online with that Seraph's Embrace. He's really hurting people that he jumps in on.
Yeah, he just dashed forward into 3 members to get a little poke. I'm like, there was an Alistar there. It was definitely a bold move.
There was an Alistar there until he recalled.
Yeah.
Alright.
Alright.
Vladimir pushing in the mid lane. Pretty decent at wave clear. You can see, though, the Florida International not quite as confident to jump straight onto the Baron. They're looking to try to grab a pick before they do so, so they're fighting for this vision. You get a little bit of poke on Divided. They'd love to take this jungler out. He secures his red buff, though, and walks away. So we're still looking at a 5v5 fight, but that is where Florida International is going to have the advantage in that 5v5. Keep your eyes on where they decide to move.
Socratic jumping into the Baron pit takes off a quarter of the HP.
Alright, Galio going to start us off one more time by jumping in onto Divided. Again, that's the target they want. He's not going to take much damage, though. So it just resets.
Really, the optimal target would be to knock down Sem, because the thing is, you have to figure that if Zillion's around, whoever they try and pick is going to get revived. So they do have a wave crashing on the bot side, so somebody has to go down there to answer it. This could be a Baron, but they do have a ward right above the corner of the pit here that has not been spotted out, but they will have vision as soon as these members start up. But it's going down so fast. The TP called, and they are going to back off.
So Vladimir comes in. They find now come on to Ezreal. That's the target they want. Kane's ultimate has been used. And Nico's grabbing 2 members. Takes that one. The Zillion ultimate to himself. Keep himself alive as everyone else trying to jump onto Sem. In the meantime, the Galio ultimate used. Dropping Taste of Italy. He will fall. Kane's still alive on the backside of the fight. But it is still 2 members down to the side of Maelstrom. And no one dead on Florida International University. They would still like to take that jungler out. But this might be the call then to turn on to the Baron.
Yeah, Eric Dota going to clear out the vision inside of the pit there. There's still this little obnoxious ward right at the edge. It's a really clever ward placement. Take notes, everybody. If you ever don't have domination of the Baron pit, that might be a good place to put it.
The 30-minute mark. Baron is being started up a second time. Make it a third time if you count the first fight for it. As Mumu, nice jump onto the Kane. He's going to get a lot of damage. Kane still escaping forward now, but Ezreal chases forward, throws out the last Q necessary to take down Kane. And Mumu securing the Baron in the meantime. And Florida International might have been a little bit more of a struggle this game. They still secure the victory of the Baron. Not victory of the game just yet.
Yep, then this time they get out clean with the Baron. Last time they got the Baron, but got almost wiped. And they got a delayed ace once the Malphite was dropped in the last part of the fight. So, this time all 5 members have the Baron as well as the gold advantage from it.
Oh, this is risky. This is risky. Maelstrom collecting around the Wind Drake. They thought they might be able to finish it off as it only had a couple of seconds before spawning, before Florida National could respond and get there. However, they have come out and forced all 5 members turn and burn the Wind Drake down, making that their 4th Drake of the game, 3rd Wind Drake. They are fast on this map.
Yep. So Sky Above the Sky gets carried off by Eric Dota's clone right there. But they do end up picking up their own blue buff, but that... Do they? No. Eric Dota, I think, ended up stealing that. Oh, where'd it go? No, it was Strike Down. Strike Down ended up with it. Socratic just going to throw one more auto attack, and yeah, that's exactly the shot call I was hoping for. They're going to go top. 5 members collapsing down, dropping wards along the way, and clearing out vision really quick. But that's going to be top lane tier 1, probably tier 2 as well, and hopefully, if you're on the side of FIU, to get the Nexus turrets, or sorry, inhibitor turrets, cracked as well off of this Baron shove. Whoa, Socratic! That was
very confident in his abilities. Apparently, he's going to jump forward. Throws out that True Shot Barrage, taking the shield for the moment off of the sky above the sky. Alistar just unable to really make it engage because he's going to lose so much health when he does. That second tier turret in this top side has been called off of by Maelstrom. They're going to give it over. Baron's still on these members for a little bit. Yeah, they've got over a quarter time left on it. Strike down finds the taunt on Case of Italy, but it's tanky Alistar, so he's not going to burn that much near restoration using the Hemoplague, but it's only on one member, so not getting much off of that. However, they defend this inhibitor turret on the top side and cause Florida International to reverse direction, head towards the mid lane instead.
Yeah, that was the Alistar ultimate. The thing is, with him being so behind, if he doesn't have access to that, there's really not much that he's good for in
Oh, great! Galio flashes forward. He's got the taunt on two members. Near restoration, trying to get as much damage down. The Galio ultimate's not going to save him. However, mid lane inhibitor gets finished off. Ezreal clears that one up. Zem is going to actually finish off the Galio, so gets his 4th kill of the game. Inhibitor saved, but middle inhibitor cracked and down, just like you said. The Baron buff being used very nicely, and now the rotation Florida International onto the second tier turret on the bottom side.
Yeah, and I believe, yep, this is going to be the mid lane inner, or the bottom lane inner turret finished off as well. The amount of gold that just went into FIU's pockets is ridiculous. 3 turrets in the top side as well as 1 on the bot side. That was absolutely a power play, plus the Baron gold. They are so far ahead. 61,000 gold to 52,000 gold at this stage of the game, and they are looking to bring it home.
Well, and that's the crazy thing. Some people, especially if they're a little bit lower when playing, lower ranked when playing League of Legends, lose sight of the fact that the game is not about kills. The game is about objectives. And just those objectives between the mid lane, top lane, bottom lane that were secured set Florida International up almost 10,000 gold in the lead. It is insane how much gold they have, and they could safely recall, buy new items, finish off 3 to 4 items. Look at Ezreal, he's got a Maw as well. Bless that Executioner is calling for the Vladimir. He is going to hurt like a truck smashing a fragile little egg when he hits someone.
Well, as eggs don't actually have nerve endings yet, so they're not hurt. So are you implying that they're getting smashed so much that they don't even feel the pain, they're just dead?
It hurts me to watch.
Oh, okay. I understand. Alright. Speaking of which, that Executioner's Calling you pointed out there, also important for Divided. The healing that will come out of the red form cane is really, really potent as well. She can just ult into a tank, which FIU has plenty of, and then come out with full health. But if he's afflicted with the Grievous Wound, only 40% of that healing will come through. So
Florida International rotating to the next Drake. It is not going to be anything too crazy besides the Elder Drake, and they
4 stacks
to start things off. The last game did not get to this point. It was finished off. I think they had gotten an inhibitor at this point and just kind of shoved in after a Baron and an Ace for the win. This time they got a play for the Elder Drake. Well, do they have to? Divided cut out for a moment, drops Norton down to about half health. We'll see if Maelstrom can mount the comeback, though. Alistar starting to engage. Drops Carl for a moment. Everyone turning on to the Vladimir. The battle lines have been reset. Everyone repositioning, putting Florida International on the top side of this river. Now, they could just turn onto the Baron, as it is also up and available. So Kredek way up to the front lines, relying strongly on his Arcane Shift to get himself to safety if necessary.
Yeah, but the poke that he's throwing out is really effective at pushing people off. Divided along the backside.
Oh,
so Kredek cut out.
Going in, Galio ultimate used. They're going to knock up the Alistar. No one here is on. And a perfect Malphite ultimate on the 3 members. This should be the fight as the platform from Nico only lands onto the Vladimir. He might have Pool in a moment, trying to get what damage he can down. The Hemoplague's been
Resurrect.
used. The GA, or the, yeah, sorry, that's the
Things down.
ultimate keeps him alive. This Ezreal, though, still up, still doing damage.
GA.
Takes down the Tristan. Nana throwing out the little bit of damage onto Divided as he's trying to finish off the Ezreal. Flashes forward. Can he get the last little bit necessary? Dropping him low, but the Kane's gonna fall. And ladies and gentlemen, all but one member left, or all but one member from Maelstrom drop, and the ace completed by Malphite with a nice Q. That should once again, this tastes very similar to game number 1, destroys Maelstrom and should be the end of the game.
Yep, and that is going to be all she wrote. Quick 2-0 by FIU, and unfortunately for Maelstrom, they were not able to bring it home. A good showing in round 2, but they're just too strong. Their opponent's playing too clean, and Malphite didn't even need the ultimate. Jumps into the fountain.
Well, he used it at the beginning of the fight, knocking up 3 members, forcing Sem completely out of the fight. But it was back up for him to have some fun into the fountain at the end of the game as well. Great stuff, though, from Florida International. As you said, Maelstrom definitely tried to mount the comeback at the end of it, and it had just a better showing, but wasn't nearly enough to deal with Florida International's rotations and the wombo combo plays. Think again very quickly to the play around the Elder Drake. It looked pretty rough for them at the beginning because they were split up, but with some really nice movement, they jockeyed for position. They found themselves once again grouped as 5 members towards their base, which is what you want. You don't want to get pinched anywhere. And with that, they kind of played back and forth. Amumu was starting to make Maelstrom nervous by pushing the mid lane, and that was what said Alistar, hey, maybe I can make a play on a 4v5 situation. He goes in, but he's by himself. No one from Maelstrom could follow up. There was no Galio to chase in. There was no opportunity to follow up on the Alistar, and immediately he gets burned down, making it a 4v5 fight. Amumu shows up, locking everyone else down. Malphite knocks them up. It is just a slow pick off for Florida International after that, and with that ace, they then win the game.
Yep, very cleanly played by Florida International, by you playing both games incredibly clean. Though Maelstrom, much better showing in this one. The first game was a stomp. This one was hard fought until that final team fight. Though the previous Baron fight had a lot to do with it. The amount of gold that they managed to get back for themselves after knocking down all of those turrets, the macro, the shot calling, and the team fight, plus individual mechanics, just too much to handle. FIU definitely a contender for the top spot this time.
Beautiful stuff. Congratulations to Florida International for the quick 2-0 and moving up in the standings. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a fun time. We've enjoyed it, and I look forward to any future opportunities to cast any more collegiate games. Maybe we'll be back next Saturday. Either way, that'll be us for tonight. Hope you all have a fantastic evening, and we'll see you next time. Really quick shout out, if you are interested in playing in any Shoutcasted games, XLNC Shoutcasts every Tuesday and Thursday night. We both do team events, we do solo events. Feel free to jump into that Discord to get more information, but either way, we'll be back on stream on Tuesday and maybe back next Saturday for more collegiate games. See you next time.